Well, it's that time. It is that time. I'm going to ask our Sergeant at Arms to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And good morning, fellow Rotarians and guests. Please.
Thank you much, Mr. Short-Time President. Face the flag, hand over heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And before we ask Shelley to substitute for Pastor Bob, I have a few health announcements to make, none of which are exactly pleasurable. The first one, yes, unfortunately, is Pastor Bob is not here because his father's been diagnosed with leukemia. So that's where he's at today. And Steve Walker's wife had a severed artery in her neck by accident. There was nothing that she did, it happened. She was in intensive care. She was very close to losing her life, but she is in recovery. He may still show today, we're not sure. And then there's old Mr. Steve Gursky, who's just come. I'm not Steve Gursky. Yes, yes. How are you doing, Steve? Yes. All right. And then Bruce Gazzelli, who is still recovering from his knee surgery and hopes to join us soon. And Shelley, would you please be kind enough to give us your blessing? Amen. Thank you so much. Enjoy your lunch. And we will start the meeting at 12:25 today. I know there's not enough time to eat today, so we have a jam-packed schedule. So the Sergeant at Arms, is it okay if they still eat while we get the meeting going? What do you think?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, it's okay. He said it's all right. All right. All right. Well, we're going to go around the room and introduce the guests. And I'm going to start right over here and introduce my lovely wife, Marcia Brown. Yes, you do. Woohoo! All right. Patrick, who's introducing you? Up. I'd like to introduce Patrick, who will become a Rotarian today. Welcome. All right, Scott.
Hello. First guest I'd like to introduce is myself. It's been a while. And I wanted to say thank you to everybody. Just really briefly, I had a rather rough period recently. My brother passed away, and you know, the phone calls, the emails, the cards that were sent to the house and everything by the Brentwood Rotary Club and all of my friends here. I can't thank you guys enough. It means the world to me on through that time. So thank you again. Also, I'd like to introduce my daughter, Tiffany. She's a guest here today, and she actually has something brief to say also.
I'm Tiffany. I'm Scott's daughter. I'm kind of here today to just visit and meet new people, and then also I'm here because I received a scholarship from Rotary, and I just really wanted to thank everyone for all your hard work, for all the fundraising you guys do all year long, because I know my dad gets pulled away to do it all too, and I know you guys all work very much and work very hard for it. So I just want to thank all of you guys, including Mike. Thank you guys very much for the scholarship. I really appreciate it.
Very nice. Thank you. Dave Smith. And by the way, you're being recorded today, so if you come around, and Dirk isn't here, so he doesn't have to say no to the microphone, but everyone else is, please speak loudly. Dave Smith.
Hi, I'd like to introduce the reason we're here, Dory. Vicky's sister. We flew to Sacramento 3 years ago, drove a rental car 1,000 miles, and we looked at a dozen properties: Lincoln Hills, Del Webb, Trilogy, Pismo Beach, and we chose Trilogy at the Vineyard. And this is Dory Gross.
Thank you, Dave. All right. Yes, David, please.
I will start on my right. This is Tara Dale Sanders, my good friend and colleague at Los Medanos College in Workforce Development, and she's going to be inducted tomorrow into the Rotary Club of Pittsburgh. Stand. And this is my lovely wife, Karen, just here to enjoy this last celebration for President Mike, and of course to hear Cliff Dochterman. Thank you, Mike.
Hi, I have a special guest here, Tanya Berger. She's from Chase Bank and also is a member of Concord Rotary.
And who was going to introduce Shelley but Shelley? This is, would you? I'm going to come over so we can get it on tape. Because Shelley had to introduce a guest, but there's a reason why Shelley is sitting over there, and that would be?
Is there a reason?
Becoming a member.
Oh, yay, Shelley. This is Shelley Murdoch. She is the business manager at Chase Bank. And this is Ron Casada, since he's sitting here at our table. We'll introduce him too. He's visiting from the Pittsburgh Club, but we're reeling him in.
Yes, transfers are welcome. Just talk to Jay about a transfer. He knows all about that, right? All right, let's see. Yes, past President Gregg.
Yes, Rotary Club of Brentwood, it gives me great pleasure to introduce John Zink, not to be confused with John Fink. John Zink, he was here earlier in the year. It wasn't right timing, but we think it might be better timing, so please welcome John Zink.
Thank you, past President Jean Claire.
I'm pleased to introduce my beautiful wife, Gretchen Clare.
And Dwayne.
I'm here to introduce my wife, Sue Ann Schnitker.
And I would believe you'd like to introduce your two guests.
These are my two guests, Susie and Ward Prosher.
And by the way, for those of you who were not here at one point, Ward, out of the generosity of himself, matched 5 Rotarians at $100 each for the foundation. So again, Ward, we thank you for that generosity. John.
Thank you, President Mike. No stranger to the Rotary Club of Brentwood. My father-in-law, member of the Rotary Club of Concord, Chuck Graham.
Great. I'll seek through the bush. Rich McDaniel, are you no longer president, or are you? Oh, come on up. Stand up anyway. He is so done.
It was actually a pleasure to be president for the year. Mike and I got to know each other at Pets, and he asked me to come here today so we can see his last day. So I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Rotary Club of the Delta, thank you for being here. All right, I believe we only have one table left, right? Not missed anyone? Roger, how'd you like to introduce our distinguished guest to your right?
Steve Lack, he is our district governor, and we welcome you today. Thanks, Steve.
Great, nice. And our guest speaker today, Rotary International past president 1992, 1993, the very, very honorable Cliff Dochterman. Thank you. Wow. All right. Oh, and coming around the corner, thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Mike. I'd like to introduce my beautiful partner, Vicki.
All right, all right. And Michael, I believe you have the joke of the day, right? Okay, are you ready for this? Okay?
All right, my joke is very short. There was this middle school age boy who, after attending a science class, came home very excited to the mom and said he wanted to know from the mom how lions make babies. And the mom said, goodness gracious, how do I know? Your dad is just a Rotarian.
Okay, all right. Well, Cliff and Steve, one of the things that we've done throughout the year is looking back, and we've asked our Rotarians have been in the club a while to do what we call the Rotary Club of Brentwood moment. And while I've only been in Rotary a little over 3 years, I'm going to take this moment to say that we went to the district conference in Napa, and it was my first real exposure to Rotary. And at the end of that session, my wife said to me, who, by the way, her father was a lifelong Rotarian, she said, I am so glad you joined Rotary. And I'm like, well, that's why, for the party, for the fun? She said, well, there's that too. But she said, because now I truly understand what Rotary does and what Rotary is in this world today. And I thank you for that. And now, I've got something short that I'd like to play for you. Because Rotary is international, this is only a short 1-minute video, but I'd like you to check out the screen. For someone you might know, he only goes by one first name. And this is a gentleman who's very contemporary in the music world today, who is committed to Rotary International and committed to Polio Plus.
I'm here in a clinic in Accra, in Ghana, amongst the genius doctors, nurses, and health workers who are so transforming the lives of the people in this region with very simple medications and applications, from vaccines to bed nets. Wherever I go in doing my work, the Rotarians have been there before me. It is a very humbling thing to discover just exactly what putting service before yourself adds up to when you see it in practice on the field. When polio is finally eradicated, and you know it will be soon, you stand surely in the first chapter of that book. I admire the Rotary Club's interventions so much. They're well thought out and enacted. And so I thought nowhere better than right on the field to send you my very best and really offer thanks and gratitude to what you're all doing. From Bono in Accra, thanks again.
Wonderful. Wow. Roger Strauss, would you please join me, please? And in fact, this is kind of ironic because at my first meeting as president, we inducted, let's do that one first, okay? My first meeting as president, we inducted a brand new member, and you know, we try to get people to get through their red badge in a timely manner, right, Stan? You're working on it, right? Okay. Well, no, that was nothing personal, you know, but I'm happy to say that the person that we inducted at my first meeting last July is finally going to get his blue badge today. Roger?
Thank you very much, and it's, you know, it's a fitting way to close it out, isn't it? It is. Bob Jones, would you join me up here, please? Bob has worked long and hard and diligently and has finally earned his blue badge. Please help me welcome Bob to the blue badges.
All right, since you're here, Patrick and Shelley, would you please join your sponsors with us at the front table? And that would be Shelley and Shelley and Shelley. All right. There we go. So, fellow Rotarians and guests, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Brentwood, it's my privilege to induct 2 new members today. Please allow me to introduce to you Patrick Pecknold and Shelley Murdoch. I want to make sure we get the Shelleys right? All right?
Patrick and Shelley, you are beginning a great adventure in leadership, friendship, and service to your community. You have been invited to become a member, and our club has accepted you as a person of good character, high ethical standards, a person who has the heart for service, and someone who will represent the Rotary and Rotary International as a leader in our community. Your sponsors have extended their hand of friendship and invited you to become part of a worldwide organization dedicated to encouraging and fostering the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise.
So Roger and Shelley, would you please give to them your sponsor pin so that they may put it on you, all right? So Patrick and Shelley, you've been invited to join Rotary, but it's really only through your own words and your own actions that you can truly become a Rotarian. We encourage you to learn all about Rotary and to strengthen your own leadership and communication skills by actively participating in the activities of our club, including attending weekly meetings. This is what a typical meeting looks like here for our club, and social events and certainly service projects. Because when we join Rotary, as we saw with Bono today, we become part of something much bigger than ourselves. Because beyond enriching our own lives, we enrich people's lives that we may never meet, people around the world, in our own community as well. Well, we welcome your strong arms and strong hearts for service in joining a club to engage Rotary and change lives.
You will be provided many opportunities through our Rotary Club and district to enhance and expand your professional and personal skills, and these opportunities can provide great value to you. And we commit ourselves to do our part in making you feel welcome in the club.
So Patrick and Shelley, we're proud, everyone in this room is proud to be a Rotarian. It's my pleasure to provide this pin by which your fellow Rotarians and the community at large will recognize you as a Rotarian. I'd like our district governor or guide, Steve Lack, would you please come up, sir, and pin our new Rotarians.
As you know, I've shown a book called Adventure in Service, and it calls us Rotarians adventurers all, because the day that you put this pin on, you begin a new adventure, an adventure in service, where you will meet people, do things, and make a difference that you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So today, as I induct you as the newest adventurers of the 1.2 million Rotarians in the world, I welcome you to your adventure in service.
Congratulations. And as the district guide said, when you join Rotary, you're shaking the hands of 1.2 million members throughout the globe. As your president, I now declare you Rotarians. And ladies and gentlemen, please rise, give them a round of applause. All right. Thank you. Now, please stay standing. Immediate, soon-to-be past President John Fink, would you lead our club in the four-way test? Absolutely. Thank you. And it's behind you in case you need to take a quick gander. All right, John?
Fellow Rotarians, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be fair to all concerned?
Great, thank you very much. And please have a seat. This is your chance to take a minute or two and tell us about yourselves, tell us about your business. We'll avoid any fine. And I know you're changing your job very quickly, right, Patrick? Please.
Okay, so as I was saying earlier to Mike's wife, I do a few things. My wife and I own a dental practice here in town, so we do a little dentistry, and we also own a small water company, so we do water deliveries, coffee service. And I've been in the semiconductor industry my entire life, and so I just went back to work in that field last week. So now we're doing a multitude of things, so very busy.
Hi, I'm Shelley Murdoch, and I am experiencing an empty nest. I have a daughter that just graduated from college a month ago, and she's panicking that she hasn't found a job yet. And then I have a second child. He's going to be a senior at Liberty High. So I thought, you know, now that my children are pretty much on their way, it's time for me to get a little more involved in the community. So thank you for having me.
Thank you again. Welcome to Rotary, please. Thank you, Roger. Today, the trustees of the Rotary Foundation and I have the honor to express appreciation to a couple who has made substantial contribution toward the goal of international understanding and peace. In doing so, they support honor the humanitarian and educational programs of the Rotary Foundation that make such a difference in our world today. It is my pleasure to ask the district governor and district guide to join me, and also it gives me great pleasure to announce that Dave Smith and Vicki McIntosh have made contributions to the programs of the Rotary Foundation that qualify them as major donors at level 1. Dave and Vicki, please come forward and accept our congratulations.
Now, the great adventures in the world aren't free. Columbus founded America, but it took King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella to fund that adventure. We have world-changing adventures that change the lives of people around the globe and here in your community. But it's not possible unless their funds are available and you make dreams come true. So I'd like to recognize you more than as major donors and more than grand adventurers, but as people who make dreams come true. You make the dreams of people in conflicted parts of the world come true who want peace. Because above all, Rotary is about peace and conflict resolution and understanding. For example, in Ramallah in Palestine, there's a Rotary Club. And who went to that club but the Rotarians from the Jerusalem Rotary Club? Rotary makes peace possible, and you make the peace efforts possible through your major donor grant. You make the dreams come true of a mother whose child will never suffer from polio. You make the dreams come true of a child who'd like a glass of water, of fresh water. And you make the dreams come true of those here in your very community, the young children who will get a map on their playground and learn about the geography of the United States. Up in Weaverville, there's a nursing home where there are patients who are in a renovated room thanks to the funds that you provide. There are children in Alamo who have musical instruments thanks to you. And there are children up in Weaverville, in Weed, who have a sound system because of you. You make dreams come true, and on behalf of the trustees of the Rotary Foundation, I'd like to welcome you as a major donor and present you with the symbols, a small token of the appreciation and gratitude that Rotary would like to extend to you. And we have, of course, in Rotary, it isn't official till there's a pin. And so, with the pin of the major donor, there's presented to both you and Vicki as major donors, and so I'd like to pin David. We do have a few pins here, but this is one that I want you to wear proudly because it signifies you as a dream maker.
And then with your permission, I would like to walk Vicki over to Cliff and have, because Cliff has always loved beautiful women, and have Cliff put this pendant on for Vicki. If you would, Vicki, would you please join? Yes.
What a pleasure this is to present this major donor pin. Let's see, however we get this happen. As president of Rotary International, and I've had occasion to do a number of these things, one thing I did learn is if you drop the pin or something when you're giving it to a beautiful girl, you turn around and I'll see if I can find you. If you drop the pin, you never look for it. Those are some of the few things that you do learn as the president of Rotary International. Congratulations.
I would forgive you if you did.
Congratulations.
Steve and Vicki, Rotary International, and by the way, from what I know in the history of our club, this is the first and it will not be the last. I know that. This is a beautiful symbol of peace with your names inscribed on the side, and we thank you, and in behalf of a 1.2 million members, we say, well done, and now, Dave, I'm sure you have one or two words.
Just a couple. What's 100 times $10,000? It's 1 million. I got a degree in accounting from Iowa State. I knew that. I've gotten this back 100 times, at least. I feel very blessed. I'm now in day 16 of my artificial pancreas, which is just incredible.
Wow. Huh? Now, please be seated. I want to share something with you. Laura Day, who was Steve's predecessor, said to me before I became president, he said, you know, Brentwood, quit sandbagging this goal thing. Put a goal out there for the foundation and go for it. And I went, sure. So I sat down with Bruce Gazzelli. We said, what can we do? We looked at the great accomplishment that John had done the year before, almost $17,000. Let's see if we can do better. We set the goal at $23,000. $23,000. I checked in a few days ago. We were at $22,000. I was at Shepherd's Gate yesterday. We were flipping hamburgers, and I'm sharing this with the Rotarians who were there. And Howard Bowles, who, by the way, is having some skin cancer removed and couldn't be here today, said, Mike, he said, Mr. President, I'm not going to let you down. So he called up Rotary International today, donated $1,000. We did it. Congratulations. Okay, Sergeant at Arms, it is your time, sir. Yes, we're rolling. Cliff's looking at his watch. I'm in trouble.
Well, I'll save one leftover birthday for Dave Roche next year. That way we took for time today. Let's see. Dave Smith, would you please stand? We missed your birthday, or you didn't want to celebrate your birthday last week, so let's sing happy birthday to Dave Smith. And so I think you made your donation already. So to save time, we'll forego the birthdays until Dave's month next year. There's only one that was left over. But in my last time as Sergeant at Arms, I'd just like to say thank you. And if you guys remembered one thing from mine and Mike's year is be respectful to the Sergeant at Arms and the President at all times. And when addressing us or the speaker, not meaning us, me or Mike, but Dave and Steve next year, please stand and don't get fined. I will be watching, and every time I see someone not standing, I will raise my hand to do that. So first of all, I'd like to bid on the fine-free badge, $25. No, just, no. So do we have, oh, yes, sir, Gene. Okay. Well, and the fine-free badge, let's see. Oh, there's only one young girl here. So anyway, never mind. I won't let you know what the fine-free badge is. So. Do we have a couple people we'd like to call up here today?
I think you, yes, sir.
Okay, let's see, Jennifer and John and Olga. I don't see our other one here. Would you please come up? Olga's back there. There she is. She was hiding back there. Carissa's not here. Let's see, anybody else that we can find today? Looking. Uh-oh. Yeah. He's getting the camera. I think the other one, yeah. So usually when the President of the United States, before the end of his term, he grants a little thing called immunity. So today, with Mike's permission, we're going to grant Jennifer and John immunity, forego the 42 weeks of Rotary meetings with them not changing tables until today, and they were saying they were forced to change today because of some seating arrangement. So at $5 a meeting for 42, that's quite a bit, good 210. Mr. President, would you like to forego,
Actually, I have some late-breaking news.
Yes.
I would pardon Mr. Fink. However, he told me, is he still? He told me that he wants to do that, but even he doesn't want to be denied the opportunity to serve and to give. But he has something more. John?
Well, Mr. Sergeant at Arms, I realized that I did fly in the face of the rule this year, so what I would like to do to make up for it is I contacted Bruce, and I am going to give him a check today for $543 to finish off my Paul Harris.
Way to go. 5. Great. And who else?
Olga, you can sit down now. Chuck, you should be quite proud of John and Jennifer for following in the Rotary tradition. Olga, you're sitting down too. Yes. Olga, you weren't late today, but you've been pressing that issue all year long. No comments from you. So So the same thing is going to apply to you. Maybe is getting clemency and a pardon from the president for a few indiscretions this year. So, Mike, do you have any ideas on this? Yeah. Do you have any ideas on the fining process for this?
The indiscretion seems to be that you get it through that door in nanoseconds before the meeting starts. When fellowship starts at noon, the sign out front says we start at noon, right? Future membership chair? Okay.
Correct. Yes,
What do you think? Should we forgive her, or what do you think? What's a good fine? No. No. What do you think, group? Should we? Shall I pardon her? Yeah. All right, you're pardoned. You're welcome. All right.
However, that Olga, that pardon is only good until 11:59 this evening. Then a new regime takes over. Thank you.
Good job. And while you're here, let me give you your plaque, because you couldn't make the demotion party. Thank you, John, for your wonderful, loyal service. It says on there, having fun working together. You've made our meetings the best in the district. And he says, first applause came from the district guide. Thank you.
You're putting your trust in me for the year to help you out.
You've done well. You've done well, sir. Thank you. All right. So let's see here. Yes. Oh, Greg.
I don't know, and not to throw my good friend under the bus, but what else are good friends for? Jeff wasn't here for a couple meetings. I thought something special happened in his life just recently.
Oh my gosh, Jeff Altman, please stand up. That's right. I know even without the microphone, the group could hear you, but would you please tell the group what happened to you since we last saw each other?
First of all, thanks, Greg. I'll get you back for that. He was behind me. I couldn't see him. I almost thought I had immunity for a minute. Thanks. Sorry for my absence. I missed all of you greatly. I was dealing with some business things the last couple of months and couldn't be here. On the 17th of this month, I got married down in the Caribbean. So that's the big news he's talking about. I finish up my business dealings. I should be back in action. So look forward to having lunch with all of you on Mondays. Thanks.
Congratulations, Sergeant at Arms. Is there a fine involved in that? Well, that was what I was saving next year for. Oh, save it. Okay. Oh, there's a check. Is that a Paul Harris check? A foundation check? Very nice. $300 for the foundation. Give it to Jack. So all the money that's being mailed in is starting with your year. Nice roll. Nice roll. But you can still call in today to join money for us. All right. Let's see. All right, we talked about the foundation. Rhonda tells me we have about 5 spaces left on these great, magnificent placemats in front of you. We need a check for $100, a business card to Roger Strauss, and we need a clean business card, okay? All right, let's see, quickly, save the dates. Board meetings coming up on July 8th, installation, dinner, and awards, and I'm gonna let Steve talk about that, but also, Steve Gursky, here's your demotion party. It's already up there, buddy. So start planning ahead.
First of all, I want to thank the Rotary Club of Brentwood for what a magnificent final club meeting as I'm 12 more hours as your district governor. And to induct members and to present a major donor award and to be here with our past president, Cliff Dochterman. I couldn't find a better place to be on my last day, so thank you. And I'd like to recognize your club president. As you know, all of them are superheroes, but you know which superhero your club president is, and that is Thor. And so I want to congratulate Thor on a great year as president, and thank you, because your money, our district Laura, the past District Governor Laura, had a record that I didn't think could be met, let alone beat. And she let me know this last Friday that we set a new record. We beat her record of $540,000, and it's because of you and clubs like you. Now, your club's going to be recognized at the Award and Installation Luau on July 12th at Woodland. And I'd like as many of you to come, because when we call the name the Rotary Club of Brentwood, we want to hear a big whoop and holler. And so that is July 12th. You go to the website and you register for it, because you are going to be named as one of the top awardees. I won't tell you what award, so come and be surprised, but you will be recognized as one of the best clubs in the district. Then the pictures you see today, I'll be posting one last day on Facebook. Come and like District 5160. And finally, after today, I'm going to retire the hat and the jacket and become a member of the Rotary Club of Pleasant Hill, but not the beer holster. The beer holster, I'm the vice chairman of Beers Rotarians Enjoy Worldwide International Fellowship, which I'll continue to promote, and we've continued to take members. In the first 4 days at Sydney, Australia, 200 paid members. We'll be the largest fellowship probably in the first 6 months. So the beer holster stays and will grow. And again, I want to just wish you a great year. The next adventure that starts at 12:01 under District Governor Pam Gray from Paradise. Let's the adventure continue.
Thank you, Steve. All right. Well, we had a really great, which one am I supposed to be? Yeah, is Roger saw me. Which one, okay, do you speak into? This one. We had a great, great demotion party. I want to thank everyone that was there. I'm still grinning from a wonderful night. And we had some announcements that were made there. In case you didn't get a chance to see these and know about them, Vicki, our Rotarian of the Year, come over here. And also, you didn't get your pin. You got Rotarian of the Year pin. Isn't that beautiful? So again, thank you. Thank you for everything. Yes. Okay, we announced last time Caitlin Ziegler is non-Rotarian, rookie Fran Bowman. You didn't know about Volunteer of the Year, Tom Ranieri. How about that? Tom, stand up. Yes, thank you. And Peggy Ann Valley, our ever-ready bunny, the Energizer. Peggy, please. All right. And Jennifer, the best doggone website, and you name it. Yeah. Now, she's not here today, but I want to tell you that this is our International Service Award goes to Julie Schaefer, all right? And you know why. We put in an incredible grant for Haiti, which fell apart in Haiti, but not because of what we did in our club. And then finally, I believe the Can Do Award is a new one. And where's Scott at? Scott Goggin. Come over here, Scott. This guy, brand new Rotarian, never turned me down one time. The can-do guy. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. District conference is coming up in Reno, October 30th through November 2nd. Take the train. It's going to be a blast. And then finally, we know all about this, and we're done with this. And I believe we're okay time-wise. I've gone over a little bit, Cliff. I apologize for that. Now, what I'd like to do is introduce our guest speaker today. And the way I would introduce him is to simply say to all of you that I haven't been in Rotary very long. You all know that. But this man and this book and the words that he has said are just incredible. And in fact, I'll share one section here. So, when did you become a Rotary Club member? And what did it mean to be a real Rotarian? Did you ever call the Rotary president and say, that's the club president, and say, is there a job for me to do in town? And I'm ready for it. So that's my challenge to all of you, and I'm sure that's a challenge to all of you. I could talk for a long time about this gentleman, but he has been the greatest single influence for me in my year. If you want to know where this came from in my heart, it comes from this man. And ladies and gentlemen, the past Rotary International President for 1992 and 1993, it is the most honorable Cliff Dochterman.
Thank you all very, very much. Thank you all very, very much. Is this one working or which one's working? Yeah, and I know you had another international president here earlier in the year, Rick King. Now, he's the very best speaker in all of the Rotary world. And that's not just my opinion, that's his. And people often ask, what do the past presidents of Rotary International really do? And I say, well, we're kind of like a corpse at a funeral. We're absolutely essential for the occasion. We don't have a very big part to play in the program, and they sure as heck don't want to hear you speak. You know, I've been associated with Rotary a long, long time. I grew up in a little town in Ohio, and I used to go to Rotary every Monday noon. I had the best attendance of anybody there. It was, well, I was a waiter, and I didn't know much about Rotary except they ate a lot of food and had that big wheel over the head table. But it was a small Rotary club. As a matter of fact, that club was so small, they only had a three-way test. Now, that's a small club. They had those three questions. Is it fun? Will it hurt anybody? Will anybody find out? That's all you had to know to belong to that Rotary club. Now, I've got some notes here. I don't really need them. I just want to know when I'm finished. You know, when you get old enough to be the world president of Rotary, you got to be real old. And things start going, your memory and everything. I have a couple of friends who were out to dinner a short time ago, and they were having dinner, and one of the guys says to the other, he says, hey, what's happened to you? He says, what do you mean? He says, well, your memory seems to be so much better than it used to be. He says, all right, I'll confess. I'm going to a memory school. A memory school? What's that like? He says, well, everything's associated, and you think of one thing, that helps you remember something else. He says, wow, that's pretty interesting. What's the name of the memory school? He says, the school is called what are those long red things you give your wife on Valentine's Day? He says, a rose, that's it. Hey, Rose, what's the name of that memory school? Well, when you forget it like this, they elect you president of Rotary International. You know, it's great to be back here in Brentwood. I spoke here once before. 46 years ago, I spoke at this Rotary Club when I was district governor. And so it's nice to be invited back every 46 years. And thank you very much. I come from Moraga. Moraga is a little town over the hill. Moraga is a Spanish name. Freely translated means large mortgage. It's now we have a Rotary Club over in Moraga. It's a breakfast club that meets at noon. We have a lot of older members. I don't know why people always think that Rotarians are so darn old. I said to my wife last year, I said, now, do I really look 88? She says, no, but you used to. You know, I was at my Rotary Club here a couple of weeks ago, and one guy says, you know, my wife says, let's go upstairs and make love. He says, can't do both. Well, and another guy was bragging, though. He says, you know, I remember the night I made love for 1 hour and 3 minutes. He says, 1 hour and 3 minutes? When was that? He says, the night they turned the clocks back. Well, that gives you a little idea what my Rotary Club's like over there. we got a lot of retired people. When my wife used to say it's time for dinner, I used to go out and get in the car. Well, I better say something before I finished. On occasions such as this, I frequently ask the question of Rotarians I see, when did you become a Rotarian? Like these two new Rotarians became a Rotarian today. And they say, oh, I joined Rotary about 5 years ago, or I've been a member of this club since 1995, or no. I said, that wasn't my question. I didn't say, when did you join a Rotary club? I said, when did you become a Rotarian? You see, there's a huge difference. Two members joined Rotary today, but I hope one day they'll become Rotarians. You see, I've known members who've belonged to Rotary for many, many years, but they never quite became a Rotarian. There are some people that have been Rotarians for many years and just joined a club. You see, a real Rotarian's a person that takes special pride in their business or profession. You can count on them. You go to them and say, who in our club sells carpets? Who sells groceries? Who? And you know that you're going to be treated fair and honestly and with integrity. Their word is the kind of words you can always depend upon. And they're always willing to step forward and say to the president, is there a job I can do in our community? You see, service above self is more than just a motto, a slogan you hang on the wall. It becomes a way of their life, a way of life. I have a friend, Skip Kreidler, who passed away a short time ago, but he used to tell a story about the Rotary Club of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Well, he was from Tulsa, but he told the story about the Houston Rotary Club. Now, the Houston Rotary Club used to be the largest Rotary Club in the whole world. They had over 800 members in the Houston Rotary Club, and they had so many members they were always looking for jobs to do. And there was a phone number in the phone book, telephone book, that you could call. If there was something that you really saw needed to be done in Houston, you could call them up, and if the Rotary Club could do it, they'd take it on. On this particular day, the club president called Tom and says, Tom, we've got an urgent need to help a single mother down in the Spanish-speaking part of our town. She's got a seriously ill son, and the boy's got to go to the county hospital. We'd really appreciate if you'd get down and help on this task. Tom says, hey, don't you know I'm a busy guy? I got a big office here, and all these people depend upon me. I don't have time to take some kid to the county hospital. And the president says, Tom, we keep calling on you time and time again, but you're always too busy. I'll tell you, if you don't take on a job once in a while, maybe I ought to spend the rest of the year and just drum you out of this club. Tom says, okay, nobody ever quite explained it that clearly before. What's the job to do? An hour later, Tom was down in a part of Houston that he had never seen before. He went down some dirty streets among some old buildings and found some old tenement houses. He found the right building and parked his car and walked up 2 flights of stairs. It was a dingy hallway, dark, and he found the room number and knocked on the door. The door just opened a little bit, and there was a small Mexican woman standing there with an infant in her arms. But through the open door, he could see over on the well-worn sofa a little boy laying there. He explained that he was there to take the boy to the county hospital. And he went in and kind of gingerly picked the boy up with a sticky-fingered youngster and kind of led him down the stairs to his car, put him about as far over in his Lexus as he could against the door, and started on his way to the county hospital. He'd only gone a couple blocks. The brown-eyed little boy looked up and says, Mister, are you God? Tom says, why do you say that, boy? He says, Mister, My mama was on her knees praying to God to help us, and you knocked on our door. Tom couldn't think of anything more as he drove on to the county hospital. He checked the boy in at the first floor, and they went up the elevator to the 4th floor where there was to a 4-bedded ward, and there was 3 other boys, sad faces, tears in their eyes as these 3 youngsters lay in the 3 other beds. He left the hospital and went back to his car. But Tom didn't go right back to the busy office where all these people were depending on him. No, Tom went down the street to a toy store, and he went in and he bought some stuffed animals and some teddy bears, and he drove back to the county hospital, up the elevator to that 4-bedded room, and turned the tears into smiles as he gave each boy a teddy bear and a stuffed animal. Then Tom went back to his car again. But he still didn't go back to that busy office. Tom went down to a grocery store, and he got 2 big bags of groceries, as much as he could carry, and drove back to that tenement house, up the 2 flights of stairs in the dingy hallway, knocked on the door and gave the mother the bread and the milk and all the vegetables that he could carry. Finally, Tom went back to his office. First thing he did was pick up the phone, and he called the club president. He said, "Mr. President, do you know how bad some of the poverty is right here in our community? There are people that are hungry and sick, and nobody cares about them. It's about time our Rotary Club gets involved. You appoint a committee, but make me the chairman." When did you become a Rotarian? When did you just join a Rotary Club? Did you ever call the club president and said, "There's a job to do in our town, and I'm ready to do it. Make me the chairman"? Many members become Rotarians the day they discover that Rotary can add something special into their lives. Some people become Rotarians the day they volunteer to help rebuild a community playground. Others become Rotarians the day they took some disabled youngsters to a day at the zoo, or perhaps teach them how to catch a fish. Some became Rotarians the day they lifted a person crawling on the ground and put him into a wheelchair and gave him mobility for the first time. Has anything ever happened to you that made you say, "I think today I became a real Rotarian"? Oh, I can tell you it's a rare experience to pass out food to somebody who's starving. Did you ever see a person who's starving? You know tomorrow they probably won't be alive. Did you ever give a pair of shoes to a child who's never owned a pair of shoes? It's an amazing sight to see a blind person have the bandages taken off, and they see their grandchildren for the first time because they had Rotary-sponsored cataract surgery. Perhaps one of the most touching experiences a Rotarian could have is to have a mother give you their youngster, and they open the mouth and you put 2 drops of polio vaccine on their tongue and know that you've kept that child from having the horrible paralysis and disease and death that comes from polio. Oh, this has been done over 2 billion times by Rotarians around the world. Over 99% of all the children in the world have been given polio vaccine because of Rotary. My wife and I have participated in a number of the international polio immunization days where our whole country, everybody in the country gets involved in distributing polio. We've been working in India and Turkey and the Philippines, Ethiopia. Perhaps one of the most amazing and traumatic experiences we had was in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, during the opening ceremony where the president of Ethiopia was there giving vaccines to little children. And we had about 100 little boys and girls walking down. We gave them Rotary T-shirts that hung down about their ankles. And the president put the 2 drops of polio on their tongues. And just that moment, on this side of the room, there were about 35 little youngsters, all in wheelchairs, with crutches, with braces on their legs, twisted legs, bent backs, withered arms, and they sang a song to the president of their country. It went something like, "It's too late for us, but don't let other children get polio. Do what you can to kick polio out of Africa." Yes, it was too late for those children, but it was not too late for all these others that received the polio drops from Rotary and the World Health Organization. That's been the magic of our Polio Plus program. I recall a day when I was in a Nigerian village in Africa, and I watched fresh water being pumped out of the ground for the first time. For generations, the women in this village had carried water in buckets on their shoulders about 1.5 miles to a polluted stream. 2 or 3 times a day they would carry the water. But now Rotary put a water pump, just pumped the water right out in the middle of their village. And everybody was going around because Rotary has to dedicate everything. We put a rotary wheel on pumps and everything. I put rotary wheels on just about everything you can imagine. I remember in Mexico, we were dedicating urinals. Rotary wheels, you gotta see it right there. But this day we were dedicating a pump. And I was saying a few words, and through my interpreter, I said, "What is the lady over there sitting on that rock? What is she trying to tell me?" He says, "What she's saying is that when Rotary put in our pump, our children stopped dying." You never can tell what happens with those dollars. The dollars that were contributed and recognized here today for the Rotary Foundation. Well, we provide grants for people to see, cleft palate surgery and wheelchairs for those with no mobility, and medicine, malaria nets, and school equipment where education is so limited. When Rotarians work to meet basic needs of mankind, food and health care and clean water and sanitation, education, relief from poverty, we realize that these are the instruments of peace that we talk about. A newspaper reporter cornered me from the New York Times shortly after I was selected president of Rotary, and he says, "You're interested in peace." He says, "What do you folks plan to do about the situation in the Middle East?" I says, the questions got harder after that. I says, "Rotary is interested in peace, but we don't have the weapons of war. We don't have tanks and ships and battleships. We work through the instruments of peace: food, water, shelter, medicine, helping people meet their basic needs where the need for fighting no longer exists." You see, the activities of the Rotary Foundation and Rotary clubs around the world are like a pebble that you drop into the water, and the ripples go on and on and on, and you never know where those dollars you give to the Rotary Foundation or to your club or to just Rotary activities in the district, you never know who they're going to touch, but you know that you're doing something to make the world a better place. Well, I think I've talked about as long as it seems. So, as I traveled around the world, the message that I gave, real happiness is helping others. I often used to quote an old Chinese proverb. I don't know why the Chinese are so smart. They just sit around thinking up proverbs. There's an old proverb that goes like this: if you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a week, take a vacation. If you want happiness for a month, get married. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. But if you want happiness all your life, it only comes by helping others. So my message today is to every Rotary member, if you want to become a real Rotarian, do something. Do something, good things right here in your community, and you do it every day. You can reach out to some place then and around the world. You can bring happiness, you can improve the lives of other people. People you'll never know or never meet, but because you're a Rotarian, you know that others are having a little better life. I assure you, when you reach out and do some just random acts of kindness each day, when the end of the day you look in the mirror and before you go to bed say, what did I do today that was kind, better for somebody else? I assure you, when you reach out and do these random acts of kindness or work with fellow Rotarians on some worthwhile community project, that will be a special day in your life. And that will be the day you can look in that mirror and say, you know, I think today I became a real Rotarian. God bless you all for what you're doing, and long life to your past president, and even longer life to your incoming president. God bless you all. Thank you all very, very much.
Wow. Cliff, in our district, we have been building a school. You've been, and in fact, when this other international past president, Rick King, mentioned to him that we were building a school in Burkina Faso, he says, oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. But as you know, in our district, and this symbolizes the heart and soul of Rotary, this is, you could lift this guy. This is heavy, but we've done some heavy lifting, and in your honor, all right, in your honor, we have dedicated 2 cinder blocks to build a school in Burkina Faso.
Is it
in your
the
honor.
whole block or just the center?
It's just the center. It's the center. And by the way, we want to thank you, and Rotarians, please have a seat. And do you have any questions? This is a chance. Cliff's got a minute or two. Do you have any questions for Cliff? This is a great chance.
There's a question back there. When do
Yes.
when does the meeting over?
When's the meeting over? Scott.
When did I become a Rotarian? I became a Rotarian 56 years ago, in 1958. And it doesn't mean anything, but I have attended a Rotary meeting for 56 years every week. And all that means is I've eaten an awful lot of chicken and an awful lot of lousy meals. But, and I was only weighed 98 pounds when I joined Rotary.
Other questions?
Let me tell you a story. I can tell you a story. I joined the Berkeley Rotary Club, and one day I was a young administrator at the University of California, and I had written a script for a documentary they were making, and the photographer I was working with him on the campus one day. He says, oh, I gotta go to the Rotary Club meeting. He says, you want to go to a Rotary Club? Well, at that age, I'd take a free meal from anybody. And so I said, sure. Well, 6 months went by, and he says, you had such a good time, you knew so many members. The Berkeley Rotary Club at that time was about 235 members, big Rotary Club. And he says, so I proposed your name for Rotary, but I'm sorry to say that they have turned you down. They didn't think you were old enough to be a Rotarian, and your position was high enough. I says, oh, don't matter to me. About a year later, called me again. He says, "You've been getting a couple appointments. You're now working in the president's office. I proposed your name again for Rotary, but I'm sorry to say they turned you down again. But because of the classification system, they felt they had too many people in higher education classification. Virtually every dean, the president, everybody in the Berkeley belonged to the Rotary Club." A year later, the guy calls me, very persistent, and he called me, he says, "Rotary has a new thing called additional active member, that we can get somebody who's can propose somebody else in their classification." So third strike, and I got in. And that was the way I got into Rotary. And it was a big Rotary club, and I felt it was a privilege to just to have the prestige of belonging to Rotary and be able to sit with the leaders of the community week after week. And that was the beginning. Becoming the world president of Rotary was about the furthest thing in my mind that I could ever imagine at that time.
Cliff, if you would stay here, Steve Gursky, would you join me? You know, as I look back at my year, I thought about something that I could give Steve that would help him get ready, but I wasn't sure if all I really needed to know in kindergarten was really the right book, okay? It might work, okay, all right? It might, but actually, this is what's going to work. This is Cliff at Pets in 2001 giving a talk called "If I Could Be President Again." If you listen to that, that's all you need. And Cliff, if you would be kind enough, here's another pin opportunity, Cliff.
Okay.
The president's pin. Would you put this on this man?
Okay. I really prefer the women.
I'm sure you do, sir. You and me both.
Okay, let's see if we can. Awful nice shirt to spoil like
they've all
this.
got holes in them.
Well, this has got two now. Got it?
Yep. Now you're right.
Okay. Congratulations, and
I dropped it.
have a good year.
Have a good year.
Good year. Good luck. Good luck.
And President Steve, would you, do you have any words?
Yeah, actually. Really, I want to thank, first off, Mike for his great year as president. And he's been keeping in touch with me all through the process, and I don't think that I would feel as ready as I do if it weren't for him, and also the advice from other past presidents. Looking very forward to leading this group of amazing people, and looking very forward to hearing feedback from anybody who has it at any time. This is our group, and I want to run it how everybody wants it to be done. So please don't hesitate to tell me I'm doing things wrong, right, or otherwise. I look forward to hearing it. So I can't believe this is actually happening right now. So luckily, I think I'm over my fear of at least speaking to this group. I don't think we're going to add any tables or anything like that. This is plenty. But again, thank you, Mike, and you've done an amazing job this year.
Now you have to do one thing. You have to say, fellow Rotarians, honored guests, and you have to grab that gavel and ring it as loud as you can and say this meeting is adjourned.
Fellow Rotarians, honored guests, this meeting is adjourned. Oh, and this bell better be here in 2 weeks when I come back. Dave, I'm putting you personally responsible for that, Mr. Roach.